Hello there, Star Wars fans. This is Jim, and thank you for taking the time to stop by my YouTube channel. I don't say this very often, but if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, please feel free to do so. It's been a while since I put together a video, and tonight I thought I'd put together a series that would compare the vintage Kenner line to that of the current Hasbro line. Now, those of you that have been collecting for a while look at that and say, those aren't current figures, and no, they're not. Some may actually be more than 20 years old. But for me, who started collecting when I was 9 years old in 1978, those are current figures. So, for those of you that are completist collectors, I am not one of them, with the exception of the Kenner line. So when it comes to Hasbro stuff, I buy what I like. And so when it comes to Hammerhead, he's my favorite creature. And so that's why I've got two of him and one of the others. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of a comparison. Again, I thought this might just be a little bit of fun here. So we'll start off with Hammerhead, my favorite. I don't know why I like this guy. He's just so unique. Maybe like Hammerhead Shark or something. But this one, along with Greedo, Walrus Man, and Snaggletooth, are from my childhood. The blue Snaggletooth I did not get as a child. I got that as an adult. Have here his original weapon. And this Hammerhead has some neat sculpting to it. He has 5 points of articulation, as do all of the Star Wars figures then. So the head moves, the arms move up and down, and then the legs move to where you can completely sit. You'll notice a little red spot there. All of my figures had that as a child to differentiate my Hammerhead from my brother's. In addition, you may notice some silver on my guns. And that was because I painted all my guns silver so I wouldn't lose them on the carpet. Greedo's was the only gun from my childhood Star Wars toys that I lost. And so this, hence, is a replacement. Looking at the next Hammerhead, called now Momaw Nadon. This was produced by Hasbro in 1996 as part of the Power of the Force line. And he has 6 points of articulation. So we have now one at the waist, to where the hips swivel. He has a removable vest, should you choose to do so. Ginormous hands. Pretty cool sculpting head. Feet are very similar to the original Hammerhead. The guns, equally ginormous. In fact, all of the figures guns from Power of the Force line, I believe, were way too oversized. And I'm not sure if they were trying to compete with Masters of the Puniverse or what, but really, it's my least favorite line of all the Hasbro stuff. Hence, I don't have a lot of the Power of the Force figures. This one was produced in 2006 and was the third incarnation by Hasbro. So there's a total of 4 different Hammerheads. And this was called Escape from Mos Eisley. And so again, we have 6 points for articulation. Some real neat shading and coloring with the body and the head. I like that brownish blue that's in there. He comes with a staff. Again, the waist swivels, has a removable hood if you wish to do so. And then it also comes with an action figure stand that has his name on it. So kind of a neat little addition to that. Well, let's move over to Greedo. Greedo is by far the most popular of the creatures, primarily because of his duel with Han Solo, if you want to call it that. And Han did shoot first, by the way. And so there are a total of 11 variations of Greedo, including the 1979 Kenner version. This is my childhood one, and again, 5 points for articulation. Some little wear on the elbows there, but and you can see the foot there, my red spot. But otherwise, it's a really nicely molded figure, sits really well, and holds the gun really well in addition. Now, the one that I have here is a 1999 Hasbro release, and I like this one because his knees bend. This is really awesome. This is part of what they call the Commtech chip, and I don't happen to have the reader for this. I never purchased that. I purchased it because the figure had bendable knees, or movable knees. But anyway, I guess you put this in and it reads it. It has some sort of sounds to it. says name Greedo, status Rhodian, bounty hunter. He has his gun, and this gun it's a good size for his hand. Holds it okay. The waist swivels. He's got a removable vest. Some nice detailing, sculpting on the head. And then, of course, you can sit him and then bend the knees so he can actually, like, sit in a chair. And that's really, really awesome. Now, the next figure that we'll talk about is Walrus Man, or as the new name calls him, Ponda Baba. Walrus Man's another one of my favorites when I was a kid. And he has also an Imperial blaster there. There happened to be 8 Hasbro variations of him. 9 if you include the Kenner version. Kind of a weird outfit that he's wearing. I guess it does match the orange back here, but it's not really this, I don't know, turtleneck, if you will. And he's got webbed feet. Hence his name, Walrus Man, I suppose. The version that I have is the 2004 K-Mart exclusive. And I did incidentally have the earlier version, Power of the Force, and just didn't like it. And so I got rid of that and kept this one because, again, he's got bendable knees. So he can sit at the bar. He has swivel waist. Also has a removable arm. I've never removed that. And then he, of course, has a removable vest. That's actually pretty tight fitting. This one happened to come with a bar stool. So let's see if I can get that into the scene here. And so you can sit your guy right down at the bar and you can have a drink, which is pretty neat. Now these bar stools happen to interlock. So you see these 2 tabs here. And so we'll change the setting here on the camera and put a little bit of a distance here. And so I can just interlock that into place. Really quite a neat feature that Hasbro came up with. And you can see the gun doesn't really stay in his hand really well. But this one does not have webbed feet, by the way. And there the gun goes falling off. All right, so let's talk about Snaggletooth now. So the way the story goes, when Kenner sent, or when Lucasfilm sent Kenner the photos, they sent a torso up picture. And so when Kenner produced them, they produced a full-size version of Snaggletooth. Then the movie came out, and they realized that Snaggletooth was short. And so hence they stopped production of that. This blue version happens to be the only, was only released through Sears. Sears had a lot of exclusives through Kenner. And this version came with the cardboard Cantina, which again is a pricey item to get. This is something that I had noticed, I guess, probably from the Sears catalogs as a kid. And I wanted the Cantina, and I ended up getting the plastic version, and not disappointed in the least, but it was a good 30 years plus before I finally was able to acquire this one. And he's very worn. You can see that the paint's almost gone off the boots, but it does say 1978. And so anyway, I'm glad to have this in my collection. He also came with a regular Han Solo blaster. Now, the Hasbro version of this didn't come really with anything other than he didn't come with any guns. He does have a removable arm, I guess. So I don't know why. I guess a swivel arm. It's not removable. I suppose you could remove it. So that way you can move his drink in and out. The knees bend, which is really neat. Notice that he's got these silver go-go boots. He came with a bar stool. So he can sit right there just like Walrus Man can. So pretty neat figure in and of itself. 1979, Kenner came out with the correct version of Snaggletooth. And so this is the red one. And this is the one from my childhood with the childhood weapon. 5 points for articulation. And let's just kind of compare the heads here. So you can see pretty much head's a different color, but pretty much the same exact sculpt. The top torso looks pretty much the same. The only difference is he's got longer legs. I wish though that silver was on there, but I don't dare touch that. And those of you that see my videos, you know how much I like to restore things. It's now the final thing here is the Hasbro version, and this is the red Snaggletooth. And this one just came carded. Notice that he's got the same head as the blue Snaggletooth. Different sculpt for the body, however, unlike what Kenner did. He's got this huge gun, and I think it's meant to mount over the shoulder like so. He also has a little gun, small gun there that sits down in his calf. And this guy has also bendable knees, which is pretty slick. So he can also sit at the bar and have a drink. So anyway, this concludes my my session, my video on the Cantina aliens that came from Kenner. I hope you found this fun, and be looking for some more videos in the future.